Welcome back to Banner Saga, where we just defeated the dredge outside the walls. So we immediately go to loading screen. Oh, they are outside the walls now. Normal morale. This morning, says Ivor, I saw him. Bella was here. I think it won't be long now. Evie leans silently on his staff nearby. You consider what you want to do now, knowing that any of these tasks will likely take a full day. Investigate the riots. Let's investigate the riots at this point. When you get down to the docks, it's pandemonium. Few work on the ships now as the ravens stand over bodies of people while a huge crowd roars in anger. Bulwark's axes are covered in blood. What happened? You shout, pushing your way through the rioters. What do you think would happen? Responded Bulwark coolly. Didn't take them long to figure out we were building ships right under their noses. They can't have one. You're gonna lend a hand or just stand around? Fight alongside the ravens, get up on the roof and fire arrows into the crowd. Okay, that's bad. Fight alongside the ravens, probably. Fire arrows into the crowds. That seems bad, but I'll fight alongside the ravens. You heft your axe and join the ravens in pushing people back, only using deadly force when you have to. What feels like days later, they finally given up and desperate. Took longer than usual, says Bolvik. Probably be a while before they try that again. You leave feeling like you just slaughtered an army. Low morale. So I can go to the market. Oh, this is new stuff, kind of. Protected, 2 armor, 1 will, but the prices are bad. Ivor, you begin. Can we really keep this up? Ivor looks like he hasn't slept for days. We've lost a lot of fighters, he mumbles. The weight of the situation is crushing. Then, from far in the distance, you hear a horn. Dredge don't use horns, it occurs to you. Ivan appears at your side, just as a long caravan of people who come into view. Dredge turning to attack them. Who is that, you ask? It can't be, says Ivan. He runs toward the gates, shouting, You see the banner? It's Hakon! As you wonder how they got here, the gates are heaved open. You charge onto the field, clearing a path through the dredge. Yeah, the current loadout works. The keys required. Sure. Similar battle. Probably a little bit easier, quite honestly. At least it looks that way. I'm gonna line up down over here. Like so. I like that. Start off with a bang. Alright. Lead the way, Alette. Take your own. Let's not use any special powers. But let us place a low-level one there. Nice. Does the trick. He has the pushback, which is kind of okay. Let's leave the gap. No diagonal available. We haven't taken any big hits yet. Might as well. Just get a big ol' lightning on him. Alright, Rook. Take another one out. Oh, clever play. Well, that finishes you. Ouchies. Alright, that's the closest. Or the closest I need to get. Take one out. Pillage time, which means you're screwed. Let's see if I can finish him with a lightning strike. Super strike. That's way more than I need to use, but... I think that's enough to get another upgrade. Juno. I wasn't sure I'd ever see you again, Ivid. She smiles, and they embrace. Ivan is completely taken aback, as though he doesn't dare believe she's real. I'm sorry, I couldn't make it to Seekerholm. I ran into problems. Problems is putting it lightly. There's a mile-wide canyon practically splitting the world in two over those hills. Couldn't find a place to cross. Worse, dredge are practically falling out of it like blood from a wound. They're not coming from the north anymore. They're everywhere. We noticed. Glad to see you made it out alive, Nigvar. I take it the others didn't. Hakan becomes quiet, then he motions toward Juno. She got across somehow. Found her out cold for a second time since leaving Strand. We need every axe we can get right now. Bellower is here. Gods be damned. I thought I was free from that menace. I will deal with the Bellower. Come on, no need to tempt him by standing out here. So back into the safety with more numbers, less food. Hakon's caravan enters the city, fighting off waves of dredge as they go. To your relief, hundreds of skilled warriors are now safely in Boersgard. Hakon joins you on the wall with his personal bodyguard, Moger. Behind him, the Prince Luden stands alone, looking miserable. I have one last trip to make. I need this one to come with me, she says, pointing to you. I'm sorry, Eyvind. You must wait for me one last time. Not let the city fall before I return. It takes everything within Eyvind's power to hold back, but he does. She turns to you. Rook, come with me. We'll return in 2 days, maybe less if you're as quick as you look. Tell anyone who needs to know. What? Where? Why? We're gonna get murderized. Not far. She pauses, and something shifts in your vision. For just a moment. I know it's hard, she says, her voice filling your head, and you've already been through a lot. As she speaks again, the rest of the world melts away. But you're needed. You can't find the words to argue. So 2 days. Take a yox. There's the dredge just chilling. You don't remember leaving the city, but here you are, walking through unfamiliar ground behind Juno. You're alone, aside from the hundreds of dredge who are all facing toward an enormous stone ahead. The hairs on your back of your neck stand up. Why don't they kill us? Why don't we kill them? Godstone. It must be important. We're at the Godstone of Strava. You glanced nervously around, but the dredge didn't seem to hear her. It's okay. You can speak. Softly. Is this where you're going to sacrifice me? Juno smiles. What could have come across as profoundly creepy looks sincere instead. No, the dredge cannot see us. To be more precise, they can see us, but I've convinced them to be unconcerned. I can understand your apprehension, though. What are we doing? Do you know of the god Strava? Few words know if this stone exists, even amongst those who have lived their whole lives in Boersgard. While Denglir deals in fortune, Strava taught men the value of trade in a different way. He showed them it has consequence, two sides of the same coin. See the silver in the stone? The gales up here, wear away the stone, but the metal remains. We need a piece of this silver. The god Stravus is wreathed by a mad imagery of silver weapons. The myths say he traded these weapons to the gods, and they use them to kill each other. Those who seek out the stone call him the god of trade. The menders call him the god of secrets. He was both. Why did you pick me? Why didn't you take Eyvind or Hakon? You don't even know me. I apologize for putting you in danger. Eyvind must keep Boersgard from falling while we are away. And if something goes wrong here, I need to be certain one of us makes it back alive. I saw the thoughts of each person when I arrived in Boersgard. You are the only one I knew would return. What do you mean? You would find your way back to Alet no matter what. Who are you? I wish we had time for a proper introduction. My name is Juno. I am on the Mender Council. You've met Eyvind, my apprentice. How are you doing these things? Controlling minds? I thought Menders built things and healed wounds. You are right. Menders do these things. Some of us still practice the teachings given to the Loom Mother's first creations. We are called Valka. I believe I'm the only one who can influence another's mind. Then why not take control of Bellower? I learned the talent to heal minds, not control them, though even some Valka have trouble believing this. Taking control of Bellower. It is the difference between convincing a child to sit still and telling a starving bear to stop being hungry. The truth is, we're rarely a match for the Sunder anymore. Our advantage is that we can train more Valka. It is also our weakness. The Valka pass on and lose their knowledge, while the Sunder simply grow older and more powerful. Bellower is both immortal and beyond my influence, to a point. Then how do we stop him? The god of secrets will play a part, as will you. Why are we surrounded? They seem to be drawn to the Godstone. There are many things we don't know about Stravs. Maybe they see him as a patron, or it is an attraction they cannot explain. Does Stravs have something to do with that serpent in Einertoft? What was that thing? I cannot say. Can't? I have my suspicions, but until I've had time at the Menders' libraries, it would be unwise to speculate. For our knowledge is always... It always seems as though we know little. Imagine how the rest of us feel. On the contrary, the less people know, the more certain they tend to be. Let's get what we need to do, and go. Indeed, you'll need to dislodge at least a fistful of the metal. We will forge it into an arrow to slay Bellower. Wait, after everything you've told me, make a magic arrow to shoot Bellower? That's all it takes? Why didn't you do that a long time ago? Juno gets a faraway look in her eyes. No, that is not all it takes. What I tell you now must not be repeated. The arrow will not kill Bellower, even were it to strike his heart. He has no physical weakness, but it will sow doubt in his mind. When it pierces him, it will help him believe that he is dying. The rest of you will convince him of it with sword and axe. Everyone who fights at your side must believe it to be true. You're going to trick him into thinking he's dead. This is the most insane. He really can't be killed? No. Someday he will awaken and realize he's not dead. I imagine he will be quite upset. First, we must make the arrow. Focus on the task at hand. She looks knowingly at the godstone, waiting for you to start climbing. Rook, I am not certain how the dredge will react when you do this. And behind us is a sudden drop. So be careful. Okay. Doop-a-doop-doo. I'm just gonna take some metal from there. Don't get angry at me. Or murderize. Approaching the back of the stone, you start to climb, looking for a loose piece of the silver vein. Even without looking out into the dredge, you feel each sinister face watching you closely, held back only by Juno's influence. Panic races through your blood. Try to quickly wrench out the nearest. Climb higher where it may be easier. Climb higher. As you climb, you can't help but notice the stony masks of dredge lined up before the godstone, like worshippers before an idol. Just a glimpse of nearly immobilizes you. Your hand rests on a piece of silver that comes away easily. The dredge do not react. Let's not press my luck. You nimbly descend to where Juno is waiting. Well done. As you walk back through the dredge, their heads turn in unison to follow. The dread that lingers and the shaking in your hands does not subside for hours. Freaky. You approach the gates of Boersgard again, relieved that they're still standing. It looks like they took a beating while you were gone. Alette rushes to your side and throws her arms around you once you've crept through the gates. Juno smiles at the reunion and tells you, "Take this time with your daughter. Find a smith who can fashion an arrow from that silver. I have other things to which I must attend, but meet me on the walls when you are done." The crafters. Let's go there. It takes a while, but you finally find someone willing to craft an arrow for you. He eyes you suspiciously when you show him the silver, but shakes his head around and gets started. Alette watches, the smith's fire reflecting in her distant stare. I talked with Ivan a long time while you were gone. He told me a lot about Juno. Is she really as powerful as he said? It's hard to tell if, she just cut a deal with him or what. In any case, I'd rather have 2 menders here than 1, but... Dad, I think I know what's going to happen now. An arrow? She's going to make you shoot Bellower, isn't she? I don't know for sure. Come on, who else is going to do it? Ivor? Alette, I know where this is going. You're afraid of me dying. This isn't like before. We can't run this time. That's not what I... Let me do it. I'll think about it. Because if she believes... Because I know the secret, but if she believes it, it'll work. Potentially. Or more likely to work. I don't know. No, there's no time for thinking. What do you do when Bellower comes straight for the person holding the only thing that can destroy him? Let me speak. Everything's changed. Skogar feels so long ago. I'm not asking because I'm afraid of losing you. I'm not. I'm afraid of anything anymore. Oh, I'm not afraid of anything anymore. Let me do it because you know I'm a better shot. I have a better chance of puncturing his armor. We only have 1 shot. I'm not a child anymore. I'm not just some girl. I'm your daughter. I can do this. For once, let me decide what happens to me. I know you can do it. Take the arrow. I'm sorry. That's a big decision to make. So let's do that in the next episode. So catch you all then.